resident unemployed friend who, at 2 p.m. on a random Tuesday afternoon, am in the Swiss Alps. What's up? How you guys doing? You are probably watching this on your lunch break or at work, but me, on the other hand, I'm chilling. I'm chilling right now because I'm literally in the Swiss Alps. I'm actually not even joking about that. But either way, hello everyone. My name is Lara. If this is your first time on this channel, hi, how you doing? Happy Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, blah, 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 whenever I decide to post this. Hey, what is up? I am actually, literally, I was not joking earlier about being in the Swiss Alps. I am currently in Switzerland because, fun fact, I have decided to put it upon myself to third wheel my best friend on her couples trip around Europe. I'm actually kidding about that, kind of. I am technically third wheeling my best friend and her boyfriend on this trip to Europe, but it's like a friend's trip, and it just happens to be the three of us. Oh my gosh! There's a cat! Hello! You see it? Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on. I'm literally getting interrupted right now by a special guest. Hey! Oh my gosh. Oh. Aww. You are so precious. I'm obsessed with you. I'll let you do your thing. The best type of distraction ever, are you kidding me? I guess I'll just be filming while this Swiss cat next to me is just chilling out. Do you see that? Literally, she is just chilling and vibing. Anyways, technically, I am kind of third wheeling because it just happens to be the three of us touring around Europe right now. This trip has genuinely been so much fun. I've been having a great time. Clearly, I'm in the Swiss Alps, and it's been so cool to get to go from site to site and see places. And I'm not gonna lie, a running theme and joke of the trip when we have been visiting super cool places is to take videos and being like, POV, that unemployed friend at 12 p.m. on a Friday. And see, here's the thing. It's all fun and games about joking about being the unemployed friend until you're actually unemployed. And that's honestly where I'm at right now. So life update, big news, I actually am unemployed. If you've seen any of my recent videos, I've been kind of alluding to just going through a really tough time mentally, and full disclosure, it was because of my job. I was really on the struggle bus with my work. It's been kind of an okay, tough, weird journey to go through, but instead of getting emotional while talking about this, I decided to milk this opportunity and use it to make a video in the Swiss Alps. Because why the frick not? We have to take advantage of our time here. And that doesn't mean making the most and making memories. No, it means taking advantage of this view and milking it for content. Duh. I will say, this new era of being unemployed and just being in between jobs right now has genuinely been so emotionally restorative. And again, being on this trip, I've become a lot more reflective about post-grad life and trying to figure myself out more. And with that being said, I would like to present to you all Confessions from an Unemployed Gen Z. So let's get into it. But before we do get into it, let me give a quick brief disclaimer / personal context for where my experience is coming from. I worked in an office. I worked 5 days a week in an office. I had a crazy long commute to get to work. And also, for context, I was the youngest person out of a group of people that were at the youngest 45 years old. So I was working with a lot of people who were a lot older than me, which is fine, but also just the way the office ran. It was like the type of office that just loved to print paper. For example, I had a boss who would print email chains that I was on and place them on my desk as a way to let me know about the emails that I was getting. So he'd print them on my desk and be like, just in case you didn't see this email, I printed it for you. So that's the vibes of where my experience is coming from. And with that disclaimer, let's get into Confessions from an Unemployed Gen Z. Confession number 1. What if I straight up don't want to work anymore? You know what I'm saying? Let me explain. A big running theme between me and a lot of my friends who are also like starting in the working world, early professionals, is just this like a feeling of being underwhelmed. Just because you go from working so hard in college to then just like starting a job. And then it's just, that's it. And also at the same time, like, what do you mean there's no more summer break anymore? What do you mean there's no more winter break? What do you mean that my only breaks are my weekends, which once you start getting into like the work grind, just are so short that they end up feeling like a 30-minute lunch break. And I'm not gonna lie, being in this era of in-between jobs / unemployed, I've felt so much more happy and restored and like emotionally fulfilled that even the uncertainty of one, being unemployed, two, like not having anything completely lined up is still better than the negative emotions I felt while working my stable and consistent 9 to 5. And so is it bad to admit? What if I don't want to work? Maybe I am coming across as the stereotypical young, early 20s going through her existential crisis traveling girl. I'm aware of that, okay? But I'm also honest, and I just have to say, that's my truth. Okay, confession number 2. Why do we collectively regress as adults once we start working in an office? Now let me explain, because I've observed this regression within myself, but I've also observed it tenfold, allegedly, amongst my coworkers. Things that I would have never given a shit about before working in an office, all of a sudden, I care so deeply about it. For example, the amount of bathroom breaks I would take. Tell me why, deep into my job, I became so self-conscious of the amount of bathroom breaks I would take, because I would be like, oh, I'm taking too many bathroom breaks. Oh my gosh, like people are gonna talk about it. And you know what? Allegedly, people did talk about it. So that fear wasn't like coming out of nowhere, right? But it was there because I would hear from my coworkers about them talking about other people and their bathroom habits, which, why are we talking about this? Why are we observing this? Why is this a running topic of conversation? I wonder. And then those conversations would make me feel really self-conscious about something as trivial as how many bathroom breaks I'm taking. I've also just observed so many incidents amongst my coworkers who are, mind you, 2 to 3 times my age, where sometimes I feel like I have to take a step back and be like, is this really what we're arguing about? Let me give y'all an example of what I am talking about. So, Christmas holiday season of 2024 is upon us, and this is my first time ever experiencing an office holiday party. Now, with the office holiday party, sure, there's cheer and joy and holiday spirit in the air, but also at the same time, that office holiday party and the planning that goes into it is literally the formula to witness some of the biggest arguments that you will ever see 50-year-old women have amongst each other. It's crazy. Also, all of this is alleged, by the way. Anyways, the office holiday party is upon us, and this year, the party planning committee wanted to do a potluck because every other year before that, it was catered and people didn't want to spend as much money on the food, whatever, so we decided to do a potluck. Lo and behold, one person in the office, we'll call her Susan. It was always her idea in previous years to do the catering, but this year, when collectively as an office we decided to do a potluck, Susan was not happy about this, and she was so upset about it that she told half of the office. So I guess for context, my office was split into 2 halves. Susan went around and told her half of the office to not attend the holiday party because we decided to not cater it and we decided to do a potluck instead. And the gag is that the people Susan told to not come to the party legitimately did not show up to the holiday party. They straight up did not come to the holiday party because one lady got so butthurt and upset about it that these adults decided not to go to the holiday party. By the way, these are also all full-grown adults making this decision to not come to the holiday party because one person said not to. All over what? Catering versus a potluck. That's what I mean when I say we really regress when we work in an office. The amount of turmoil I have seen because of who has what type of office chair and who has what type of monitor and who comes into work when is crazy because also at the same time, tell me why. I had my coworkers who, by the way, again, so much older than me, have kids, fully have a family. Tell me why they're so pressed about what time I come into work and monitoring me with what time I come into work, even though I get my work done. My next confession is I hate office small talk. And sometimes I straight up don't want to talk to you. That is my truth, okay? Let me explain. Like I said before, there was a very big age gap between me and a lot of my coworkers, so there was already just like a pretty big disconnect, and so conversations, while I've had some great conversations on one end, were also at the same time sometimes very tricky, especially the small talk. I'm sorry, but sometimes it's 7 a.m. and I don't want to talk. And even then, some of the conversations would feel like pulling teeth. And also too, I think that because of like my age and my gender, a lot of my older male coworkers would never really talk to me. They would talk at me, and like there wouldn't be a lot of room for like a back and forth conversation. And the amount of just conversations that I've had that have dragged out for over an hour about, quite honestly, some of the most boring topics is just crazy. Like, for example, one time, I shit you not, at 7 a.m, my coworker talked to me for over an hour about whiskey, which, like, yeah, whiskey's fine, I guess. It would be fine if I asked for that information, and it would also be fine if it wasn't 7 a.m, but it was 7 a.m, and quite honestly, that was not the conversation I was trying to have at 7 a.m, right? Sometimes I'm just not in the mood for the office small talk, and I hate it. And that's my truth. I don't even know what confession this is, but tell me why. My biggest op when I was working in an office was someone who was 2 to 3 times my age, who like fully had kids and a family and was like a full-grown adult. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to the young professionals in the office who literally just mind their business, do their work, get everything done properly, and yet for some reason, still their number one public enemy is someone who is 2 to 3 times their age with like a family and kids. Like, what do you mean that you are a full-grown adult with all of these responsibilities and somehow you care so deeply about what I am doing with my life? Like, again, back on the regressing topic, like, do we not have anything else better to care about? My last confession is, let me provide some context with this. I was the only minority in my entire office, and there was one other South Asian girl who worked in like a completely separate department. And so people, when I first started working there, would confuse me with her, even though her and I looked nothing alike. We didn't have the same name. She wore glasses, I did not, and we just straight up did not look alike whatsoever, right? And like literally have had people straight up ask me, which one are you again? Or straight up call me her name, right? And so this is my confession. Sometimes when my boss would introduce me to people, or my coworkers would talk about different people in the place that I worked at who were all white men with the most generic white man name, like John or Steve. They'd be like, do you remember so-and-so from this thing? And 9 times out of 10, I did not. And so I'd be like, oh no, I don't remember. And then they would start describing them. Still doesn't ring a bell. Oh, you know, they're tall, brown hair, tall, bald, beard. You know, come on. You know Steve, right? You met Steve before. Steve? I would never know who they're talking about. But yeah, those were my confessions as an unemployed Gen Z. I just want to say, for any recent postgrads out there, you are absolutely not alone with feeling overwhelmed or unfulfilled or unhappy with where you are currently in your professional career. That is a completely normal thing to experience, and even the negative experiences are still learning experiences regardless, so they still do hold value. But yeah, things are still uncertain right now, but there's still beauty in that uncertainty and trying to figure things out right now. That was my video about the confessions from an unemployed Gen Z. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know some of your workplace confessions down below in the comments. I have so much cool content in the works and coming up, so please stay tuned for that. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Peace.